this note showed up in a Sotheby auction sale.
Oh, wow.
And
Hello, my beautiful YouTube family. Welcome back to the L portion of T.E.L.L Joanne. I am your girl, Joanne. Guys, this week we are continuing our weeks of Elvis Presley interviews by him, by others. And we are just getting all the information that we want. We, as in Joanne, who wanted to go down the rabbit hole, and you guys are joining me. Guys, I have been listening to some amazing interviews, and I thank you guys so much for being here with me. And I appreciate all the comments that you guys have been giving me. So before we continue to the next interview, you guys know what we're about to do. If you are part of the family, aka you're ready to subscribe. But if you're new to the channel, this is when I say hello. Now put me on pause to get yourself a beverage of choice. Hit that subscribe button so that you can become part of this amazing community. And on a count of three, we'll do our chair. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, let's continue. First time reaction to Wayne Newton interview about Elvis. Let's go. All right, let's go.
We have here the mock-up of actually a poster featuring pictures from his new album, which I assume is due out to be, could be released any day now.
it'll be January 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I want to focus, it's okay to shoot the picture, but I want to focus on one of the tunes. The last tune mentioned here, The Letter.
You want to talk about that?
I want you to tell me about that.
That is a song that I co-wrote with Rick Goodman, John Minnick, and Kat McCrone. And the story is, Ralph, that in 1976, in Elvis Presley's last appearance at the Las Vegas Hilton, by his bed he had a little notepad, and he wrote some words down. He wrote actually kind of a message to God and to himself, and crumpled it up and threw it in a waste paper can. And one of his guys evidently retrieved it, kept it. About 7 or 8 months ago, this note showed up in a Sotheby auction sale.
Oh, wow.
And some people called me knowing of my friendship with Elvis. And when I heard what the note said, it just tore my heart out, and I bought it. Somehow that got out, and Elvis fans from around the world started to write me wanting copies of this letter, of this note. So that's when we decided to write a song around it. And so we did. So that's the story of the letter.
All right, with the exception of what was in the letter.
So before we continue, guys, do you know what note he is talking about? Do you know the song? Do you guys know any of those things? And of course, you know, by the time he says the song, I will most definitely listen to the song, and I'm going to try, if I can remember to arrange it, to play the song either before I set this interview or the day that I set this interview. And if for whatever reason it's not, definitely comment below, Joanne, and say, where's the song? Where's the song? But wow, oh my goodness. All right, let me just go back a little bit.
So that's the story of the letter.
All right, with the exception of what was in the letter.
I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it said, I'm finally alone. I'm glad they're all gone now. I probably won't rest tonight. I have no need for all of this. Help me, Lord.
Do you think he was addressing his fame, show business, that sort of thing?
I think he was addressing his loneliness. He had by that time become quite a recluse. And
you knew him rather well, didn't you?
we were very close friends.
He used to come out on stage and say, "Hi, I'm Wayne Newton."
He did many times, and it's on several of the live records that he did from the Hilton.
Was he easy for you to get close to?
Very. He was a wonderful human being. I mean, I have refused to read any of the books surrounding him, his life, simply because none of them mirrored the person that I knew and loved as a friend.
Was he interested in what you thought of him as a performer?
I think that he was interested in what the world thought of him, which is why he became so very unhappy toward the end.
All right, let me rephrase that. Often entertainers are interested in what other entertainers think because they know that they will give you some sort of response coming from the viewpoint of an entertainer. Did you think Elvis, despite all of his success, needed some kind of positive reinforcement?
Not so much of what he was on stage, because obviously that got fed, by an audience. And I think that when performers talk, we talk in a much more technical way. As you know, we will say things like, was the bass loud enough?
Yes.
Could you hear Terry McMillan on the harmonica? Did that? Those kind of things that from a public point of view probably wouldn't even cross their minds. But those are the kind of things that we as performers kind of hinge on, I think.
Did you ever compare notes on, did you like this room when you played it?
Many times. And we would talk about people that we had in common in our lives. Did we like being married? Did we not like being married? The things that guys talk about.
Did Elvis, and I certainly would not invade your privacy, but did he reveal things to you that he's not revealed to anyone?
Pause right here. It's about to end. He said, I think he went above and beyond going over his privacy. Guys, this video has so much to unload. And I wasn't taking notes. I didn't know it was going to be so deep. So I'm going to try to go different sections. So first, my question is, okay, so Elvis wrote his note and he was removed by himself. He decided to throw it in the trash. Someone of his crew went in the garbage and took that note. My first question to you guys is, how do you feel about that, right? How do you feel about the fact that Elvis threw that in the trash and someone went and took his private note and sold it, right? That's essentially what happened. They put it into auction. They sold his private note, his private thought between him and God. So that's the first one. I don't know who that person is, and maybe you guys know. What are your thoughts in that? So that's the question number one. The second thing is that, that here you have, Wayne Newton, who's his friend, which again, I don't know much about Wayne Newton, so I'm hearing about his friend. So he bought the note, you know what I mean? And it's something that, that he knows what was in the note, and he knew that was special. He knew Elvis was special to him. He bought the note. And what do you think about that? Personally, I can tell you what I think about that. I think that was absolutely beautiful for him to have that and for him to keep it. And, word gets around. Of course, the fans want to know, what did Elvis write and things like that, because that's what we do, right? We want to know and things like that. So I'm wondering, instead of actually saying what the note was, I guess he still respected that, even as he talked about the note. Like he said, he paraphrased it, which, my God, my heart. But we're going to go on that for a second. So he decided to write a song, which I am also going to go down the rabbit hole and listen to that song. So he writes a song. Comment below if you guys have heard the song and what you guys think about the song. But by the time this video comes out, the song will have already come out also. So, and then I want to know, what are your thoughts of, even in the beginning of that, just the fact that the person went into talk about privacy. You write something for yourself and you throw it in the trash, that's something that you don't want anyone else to know, and for the world to know about that. I'm just really curious to know what you guys' thoughts are about that. And then moving on here, the interviewer, I don't want to go into your private things. And then it's like he is digging for a certain question. He is digging for a certain answer. And I don't know much about Wayne Newton, but I can tell you he's really good at interview. He's really good at he might be good at politician also, being in politics, because he doesn't answer the question. He really thinks about what I'm saying. He thinks about what he's saying before he says it. So I definitely could see this about his character without knowing anything else about him. But again, guys, comment below and let me know, because this is my first time seeing him. And just let me, just let me know a little bit about that. And I do like, because it sounds like the interview is trying to say, what does Elvis care, what, his other peers think about him. And, Newton did a beautiful job of answering that when he's on stage. In terms of what the fans think about him, he got what he needed. And I also think that it's interesting that he said that clearly he cared enough about what people thought of him, and that's why he ended up being where he was at the end, right? Because he loved his fan. He wanted to be to deliver to them. I don't even think he was thinking about, I just want to be the best. I don't think that. I think mainly it sounded like he was the type of person who, I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I want to make sure I deliver and I go above and beyond, and that seems to be his character. So that's that. But I do like the fact that he's like, we're friends, and real friends, we talk about, our wives, we talk about these are the conversations that real friends have, not fake friends, not the superficial conversation. So all of those are very, very interesting. So let me go back and see his deep, like I stopped right before it ends, so it's not too much, but let me go back and see the question that he's really trying to ask. Let's see.
I certainly would not invade your privacy, but did he reveal things to you that he's not revealed to anyone else?
Well, toward the end, we had quite a conversation one night in his dressing room, where he talked about his loneliness, his love for his daughter, the fact that he felt for him it was pretty much over. The conversation went on about 2 hours, and he was very troubled.
You mean he was prophesying his own death?
I believe that, yes. I mean, in retrospect, I didn't realize it then necessarily, but certainly in retrospect.
Well, he was a great entertainer, so are you. I'm sure he valued your opinion.
I appreciate that.
Wow. Woo! Oh my goodness. A lot of things happen in retrospect, right? And I think where Elvis was, as you guys had told me, that when my first reaction of him and was Unchained Melody, and I watched it and I came into tears, and you guys had told me that was his last performance before he passed away. I felt like everything that I've heard about Elvis, the interviews, and him going to the hospital a lot of time and seeing how he was. I mean, I think at that time people know that things are going downhill for them. Nobody knows when they're going to die. Nobody knows their time. But there is a certain point of your life when you see things are going a certain way. You start thinking about that, right? You start thinking about your life. You start thinking about your loved ones. You start thinking about yourself. You start thinking about, you just start thinking about the value that you have on this earth, right? And it sounds like, I'm glad to hear that Elvis did have some people around him that truly loved him for him, right? Not for his fame, and not for the fact that he was Elvis, right? It was because they knew him, who he was as a person, and I'm glad that he was able to talk to him, and it sounds like that was his friend. And he had 2 hour conversation, and I think Elvis probably said a lot of the things that he wanted to say. But guys, comment below, because that whole letter that was thrown in the trash and somebody went back and held that. I understand, you pick up the letter and you keep it for yourself maybe, but to put it on auction, I don't know. I want to know you guys' thoughts about it, because I know some people are like, Joanne, that maybe it's good for the world to know, but I feel like some things are private. And if I write something and I put it in the trash, that's because I wasn't ready to share it. You know what I mean? It's one thing for you to take it and share it with my family, but it's another thing for you to put it out for sale. I don't know. But comment below and let me know your thoughts on that. And thank you again for continuing with me on the weeks of Elvis, and all the comments that you guys have written. I know that I may not have answered all of them, but definitely know that I have read a lot of them. And I'm going to see you guys on the next reaction. Bye.